So what's up, people, and welcome to the Chapter 51 discussion of Kaiju 8 or Monster Number 8. So Chapter 51 came out about 5 days ago, and as always, I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, yeah, go take a look at it. Okay, so Chapter 51. Yeah, Chapter 51. It was intense. It's not a long chapter. There isn't a tremendous amount of plot, but my gosh, was it intense. And it's one of those chapters that you often see in many shonen mangas, and so it turns out to be a relatively cliche trope. And because of that, whenever an author uses this tool, it tends to fall into two potential categories. One is that, yeah, we've seen it, done that, it's okay. And it kind of makes it feel like the series is yet another series similar to all the other series out there. Or that despite the cliche, it's done so well that it brings in the feeling and the intensity that is necessary, that even if you've seen it in other manga, you enjoy it here. And luckily, Matsumoto Naoya is such a good writer. This chapter falls into the second category, and it continues to show just how good Matsumoto Naoya is at executing his story. And the thing I really liked about it is how it opened, and it opens with this scene right here. And why I find this scene to be so important is because the remaining scenes in the chapter all revolve around this scene. Everything that Commander Shinomiya does in this chapter is to protect this scene that you see right here. Family, daughter, the memories of his late wife, all of that is the reason why Commander Shinomiya will do what he does for the rest of the chapter. And of course then the rest of the chapter goes to that well-used trope, which is the character going above and beyond what you would call the realistic limits of a character so that they can go to the heroic event. It's one of those things that manga does so well, which is that characters go beyond their physical limits, right? They never explain how they can do it, but they somehow go beyond their physical limits because the heroic actions need to be that way. And the pivotal part comes mostly with the feeling. Do you agree with this, that this is such a refreshing feeling, an intense feel that you get with that you really enjoy it, despite the fact that you've seen such scenes so many times in other manga? Or does it just feel cliche? And here, Naoya Matsumoto does it in a manner that makes you really enjoy this chapter. First of all, because he set it up so well with the understanding of his relationship with his wife and daughter, that you feel invested into the actions that this character will do. He's not just some shallow character that you could care less about what happens to him. You've become drawn to this character, and whatever consequences this character will receive, your feelings will get drawn with it. And so when his life is put on the line, you become invested into wanting to find out what will happen. And of course, since Monster Number 9 has also been introduced well, as a really difficult antagonist for Commander Shinomiya to overcome, this chapter once again becomes extremely intense. And so Chapter 51 starts off exactly where Chapter 50 ended, where Commander Shinomiya, using the monster powers that he adapted from Monster Number 2, does an intense attack to Monster Number 9. And what we find out is through Kurusu, his assistant, he is basically taking the capabilities of his monster powers to the absolute limits. Most people would not be able to survive attacking with such high level power. So this really gives you an understanding of what Commander Shinomiya is putting on the line to be able to defeat Monster Number 9. But, as we know, Matsumoto Naoya has set up Monster Number 9 to be a monster that can resurrect very strongly, but also to adapt. So if the monster had difficulty under a certain design of its anatomy, it could change its anatomy to be able to take on that attack later. And so Monster Number 9 not only can heal itself, but can heal itself into a more powerful, difficult monster that Commander Shinomiya would have to take down. But Commander Shinomiya's power in the Monster Number 2 attack is so powerful that Monster Number 9 is having difficulty, even with his powers, to be able to fully heal. And this is kind of the gambling pivotal point, right? We are left as readers to wonder which is going to win, the overwhelming force that Commander Shinomiya continuously brings out, or the speed at which Monster Number 9 can heal itself. And that creates the intensity that you watch. For every attack that Commander Shinomiya does, you worry about his life, but at the same time, you are then shown that Monster Number 9 has not been defeated. And so, considering each attack is just as devastating to Commander Shinomiya as it is to Monster Number 9, you wonder just how far and how long Commander Shinomiya can last. But despite Monster Number 9 amusingly tells Commander Shinomiya that his previous attack didn't work, he's immediately met with another attack from Commander Shinomiya, which of course worries people like Kurusu because there is, again, a limit to how much Commander Shinomiya can dish out. And yet he is not stopping to let Monster Number 9 fully heal back. And we see in the chapter that he does one of the most intense attacks that would have killed anybody else if they had worn that battle suit and weapon. And even then, we find that Monster Number 9 has somehow survived. And at the latter part of the chapter, knowing that Commander Shinomiya is now at the brink of self-destruction, Monster Number 9 then comes in to try to win the battle and take over the situation. And that is when we're left at the end with a cliffhanger that I will not show here. But it is a really good way of ending a very intense battle. And the way Matsumoto Naoya has written it, of course we won't know whether Commander Shinomiya will survive this battle. But we do know one thing. Regardless of whether he survives or not, this man is a Chad. He is an absolute Chad. Right? We've seen other characters in other works go to that level, right? And bring on the respect of even if they lose the battle, they were so awesome in what they did that the viewers respected them for that. Whitebeard in One Piece was that way. Zack Fair in the Final Fantasy series was that way. And of course, Maximus in The Gladiator was that way. And Commander Shinomiya does not disappoint here. Whatever happens, there will be full respect to Commander Shinomiya. And Matsumoto Naoya did brilliant writing to ensure that within the short period of time that every reader had to learn who Commander Shinomiya is, we now have full respect of what this man represents. And so this was a relatively short chapter, but this was a very, very intense chapter. And once again, reflecting back to that very first scene that gives the reason why Commander Shinomiya is going so far, this really puts this entire arc to understanding why the story is moving the way it is. And so we'll have to wait until chapter 52 to find out the outcome. But we already know from chapter 51, whatever the outcome, we understand the story. We understand either way the road will go in his survivability. This chapter made that character so well. And so I'm looking forward to chapter 52, and when it comes out, I'll bring out another video at that time, and I hope you join me at that time. But in any case, this is the chapter 51 discussion for Monster Number 8. And until the next episode, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.